Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Troy TV. If you're anything like me, you love collecting mounts. This is the one of the skins you can get for the dirigible that you get through delves. Pretty cool. I really liked getting this mount because it was a lot like the Mage Tower in Legion, where it's a solo fight and it's really on you. You have no one with you. Like, you can do this delve with people, but if you solo the delve, you then get the let me solo him achievement, which gives you this skin. So, where am I? How do you get this skin? Well, we're at Zek'vir's lair, so it's right here on the map, City of Threads. First, you'll have to beat him on the first difficulty, which is called question mark. The next difficulty is question mark, question mark. You could actually, if you really wanted to, you could do question mark difficulty with a group. I think you should probably get used to the fight, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But if you really want to, you could do it with a group. The question mark is the one where you have to solo him if you want that mount. Now, this will be going away come Season 2. PTR right now for Season 2 is on the servers, so we don't know when Season 2 is coming out, but PTR ends the 25th. So sometime after the 25th of February, it's coming out. So if you do want this mount, you want to get it done before then. A couple things before you actually want to fight him. So let's talk about the first step, preparation. So there's a couple things you're gonna want to do. Of course, you gonna want to grab a flask. So I don't know if this is truly the best flask that could be used. I have flask of Alchemic Chaos. Basically, I drink it. It increases a random stat by around 3,000, then decreases a random stat by 267. That's just what I had in my bag. You're probably going to want to look up what's best for your class. But flasks, definitely you're going to want to use. Cool thing about flasks, you drink one, it lasts an hour, and it persists through death. So not too expensive because it lasts an hour. Honestly, this took me probably about 100 tries. So last night I tried it for about 2 hours, got really close, got to 25%. Just wanted to take a break. I went to bed, and then after work today on my third or fourth try, we got it done. So honestly, I probably didn't even drink that many flasks. I probably drank 3, maybe 4 flasks. So flask good, persist through death. You're definitely going to want to get that. Now, what doesn't persist through death unless you have, I think there's some piece of gear, like a cape or something that you can get that makes food last through death. I do not have that cape or whatever piece of gear that is. So food can be expensive. What I found is that actually, if you're a mana user like myself, what you can do is you can heal yourself a couple times, get your mana low, and then Braun will actually put down this fire for you. Obviously, this gets your resources up, but the more important thing that it does is it gives you a food buff. Now, this food buff is actually pretty good. So, for instance, if I was to eat this food buff that is good for my class, what it does is it gives me 470 of my highest rated secondary stat, which is versatility. I don't exactly remember. Mastery, it might be. Now, the brand buff gives me 5% increased strength. So that is actually insane. 5% increase of your main stat is a lot. So you get that for free from Braun. So I would do that every single time. I would, if I didn't beat Zek'vir, I would go in, I would use some mana, right? And I would have him put down that campfire. Cool. We talked about flasks. We talked about food. Both of those are going to be cheap because you get the food for free from Braun. The flask will last through death. Now, let's talk a little bit about Braun right here. So I used him as a healer. I'm a DPS. I'm a Ret Paladin. Where honestly, you could do this as a tank, maybe, but I don't think you're going to have enough DPS output for part of it. So, oh crap, there we go. I can't move it. So I used Brown as a healer. What are the curios that I used? So this porcelain arrowhead curio weakens enemies, and that's really good for just damage output. So I used the porcelain arrowhead. Now this is the big one. This amorphous relic. So I kind of cheese this in a sense. So we see there's two different buffs you can get from this. There is massive and miniature. I honestly would, and it's a 50-50 chance for which one you're going to get. So honestly, I found massive to be a way better buff than miniature. And anytime I ran in, and you get this buff immediately, right when you hit the target, it's a 50-50 chance of one of these two. So every time I got miniature, which reduces my size by 20%, increases my movement by 20%, increases your haste by 12%. It sounds really good, but I found the survivability to just be terrible, and at some points I would just get one shot. What I did is I went in and I got massive every time. If I got miniature, I would literally just let him kill me. Now, why is massive so good? Well, massive increases your size by 20%, maximum health by 20%, damage and healing done by 12%. So you get more health, you get more healing. I don't know if that's necessarily just your healing or Braun healing, but what I did notice is I was getting one shot way less. I almost never die unless I mess up to a one shot mechanic, which neither of these are going to help too, right? Or honestly, I think it was mainly just one shot mechanics that were killing me. When I had massive, when I had miniature, I would just randomly die. So I would use definitely this curio, definitely use them as a healer. You could probably change out porcelain arrowhead, but it worked well for my needs. Now that we went over the preparation, let's look at the actual recording of the video and see how I completed it. There are a couple mechanics you are going to to be aware of, but we'll just go through it as we play it. So here I am getting my mana down. So Bran will put down a fire. That way I get my 5% increased stat, which for me in this case is strength. We'll go ahead and get that food buff. I noticed Zek'vir does a lot of upfront damage, so it's not a bad idea to use something to reduce that damage. So I go ahead, I pull him, I see if I get the massive buff. I do. It's kind of hard to see my buffs because I play on a widescreen, and I'm going to make this in normal aspect ratio. Cool. So that's his first mechanic, his fear. You do not want to be near that. If you do get feared, it's not the end of the world in this phase, but it is a bad thing in the second phase. In the second phase, that fear is going to spawn orbs, and those orbs are going to shoot out, and they're going to one-shot you. So you should get used to not being anywhere near him while he fears, because it's going to be better muscle memory for you. Because if you're anything like me, you were just right outside of his fear window, just to be as close as possible to him. And that's good in this phase, but in later phases, that is not good because those orbs are going to one-shot you. So let's go back to here. He's going to do that fear. We get out of it. Now, that is a claw smash right there. That is a one-shot mechanic. If you're in that, unless you do a defensive cooldown, you are going to get one shot. So just never be near that. There's that fear. Like I said, get used to just going far away because it will eventually spawn orbs that will one-shot you. So this enfeebling spirit, let's stop it right here. Let's see if I can stop it at a better point where we can see it. Sorry, enfeebling spittle. So when he's turning green like this, he's about to put a dot on either yourself, Braun, or both of you. Probably is both of you, but what I notice is Braun dispels it on at least you, because he's a healer in our case. So you're going to want to get rid of this debuff. So how do you get rid of this debuff? Well, you put a magic. If you have a magic dispel, you're good. Also, anything that dispels movement impairing effects, I think works because Blessing of Freedom works to dispel this. So you're going to want to make a macro, a target macro, to either target yourself or Bran. I have a Blessing of Freedom macro in a talent where I just did a macro to always target Braun, and because I do freedom on an ally, it gives freedom to myself, and I immediately get rid of that buff. I tried doing this this fight so many times without reading any guides or anything, and I just didn't know why I was dying so quickly. And if you do not dispel this spittle, this enfeebling spittle effect, you take massive damage. So you're going to want to just get used to every time you see him turning green like this, also have dungeon boss mods on. And that way, dude, every time I saw that cast bar and he was turning green, I knew it was going to happen. And you'll see me hovering over Blessing of Freedom just to get rid of that immediately. So he does that. I literally get rid of it immediately. It's dispels both me and Braun. Then we go from there. So this next mechanic, this cocoon. So this is why it's so hard to do this on a tank, is because you need to kill these cocoons in 20 seconds. So you'll see this hatching right here, 18.8 seconds. So in 18.8 seconds, this is going to hatch. It's going to spawn an ad. That ad just does massive damage. So priority is save your cooldowns for these cocoons. Rhett, I was using a build that had 30-second cooldowns. So I would literally, I do not ever use my cooldowns on Zek'vir unless, it's the last 10% and I just want to, balls to the wall, train him down and kill him. Aside from that, I literally never use cooldowns on Zek'vir. You save them for these cocoons, you kill these cocoons, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. So I see this cocoon, I blow all my cooldowns. Regenerating Carapace. Okay, so kind of unfortunate series of events when he does his Carapace while there's a cocoon. I noticed that my DBM would sometimes not tell me he was doing this ability when I was targeting the cocoon. So what does this Carapace do? It heals him a bunch. We're talking 30-40% health it heals him for, and it is interruptible. You need to save your interrupts for that regeneration Carapace. Now, there are two abilities you can interrupt. You can interrupt that Carapace, you can also interrupt that Spittle. Unless you're a class that has a million interrupts and they're up all the time, you never interrupt that Spittle. You save your interrupts for that regenerating Carapace. If you don't interrupt that, it's almost a guaranteed wipe. He just gains so much health back, and it's just such a demotivator that, there was one pull where he got his health back 3 times, and I still got him to 20% health, but it's just going to be a bad time. So, priorities. What are priorities so far? Priorities are don't get hit by one-shots, right? Those frontal cones, very bad. Kill the cocoon immediately, right? But number one priority is, I would say, interrupting that regenerating Carapace. So here we are. I see he's doing that. I target him, I interrupt him, and then we kill that cocoon. He did a fear. We are gonna outrange that fear, kill that cocoon. Now, something I forgot to talk about, these red potions on the ground, you're gonna want to always in the back of your head know where they are. At some points, Braun is not going to be able to have the healing output to heal you. So you need to know where these healing potions are in the back of your head. And that's why you'll always see me kiting towards healing potions. I always know where they are because Braun is not going to be able to have the healing output for you. And I do not want to spend GCDs healing my character instead of doing damage. So we're going to get out of that one-shot mechanic. We know where those potions are. Anytime I'm low, I'm going to go on that potion, get out of that one-shot. Of course, there's the fear, right? So we're going to get out of that fear. Remember, get used to getting as far away from that fear as possible because you do not want to get hit by the one-shot orbs in Phase 2. Phase 2 happens at 60%, by the way. So we're pretty much going to do exactly what I've been talking about this whole time. He spawns that cocoon. Okay, actually regeneration takes priority. We interrupt that. Then we go kill the cocoon. We do not want that cocoon to hatch. Fear. I use, burst of speed to get out of that fear. You're going to want to save your cooldowns to get out of any one-shots or fears. Just going to whittle him down. We're just waiting to get to 60%, and that's when the fun begins. I honestly think you take more damage in the phase 1 because in phase 2, the boss is actually doing so many other things that he's not doing as many damage abilities. So honestly, phase 2 can be easier than phase 1 if you know the mechanics. If you don't know the mechanics, phase 2 is harder. So we see that cocoon spawning. We're going to go kill that. You could heal Braun if you want. I feel like in phase 2, that's when he starts taking a lot more damage. I really never need to heal Braun until phase 2. And honestly, I don't know if I even heal him in this fight. Get out of that fear, of course. Yeah, interrupt that. We need to interrupt that. Like I said, we're just waiting to get him to 60. Almost there. Cool. 60%, he's going to try to do that one shot. He stops. So he does black blood right here, I think is what it's called. He really does not take, look, 64, 66, 1000. I'm hitting him for nothing. Do not waste GCDs. Get yourself up in health or whatever. Build up your resources. Now you start going ham. Cool. We're in phase 2. What happens in phase 2? Pretty much everything that happened in phase 1, but buffed up. So he does this AoE. And he'll sometimes spawn portals too while he's doing that AoE. Those almost kill you. They might not one-shot you, but it damn near gets close. And he also spawns these portals, right? That regeneration carapace that he just did, that also is a faster cast. So anytime he does that, literally sometimes you need to put a speed boost on and interrupt him. You'll see that, there it is, those orbs. Those orbs will one-shot you, and that was the bane of my existence. I got so used to them, the fear not doing those orbs, and that's why you want to be as far away as possible from that. These portals, you do not want to touch those portals. You touch that portal, it sends you to another portal, and it's basically a one-shot. So you just steer clear from those portals. There's that blood-infused carapace, it's now called. Interrupt that immediately. Of course, cocoons spawn again. Now, not only does that fear spawn orbs that one-shot, but that fear is an infinite fear. If you don't have a bubble like my paladin does and you get feared, you literally don't get out of that fear. So don't get feared. You'll see every time he does that spittle, I am getting that debuff off again. You know, that's that freedom that I'm doing right there. I am noticing Braun's health. If you notice, we're below half on Braun's health. He can die. If Braun dies, the only way to get him up is to like go res him like you would in Fortnite, where you have to like go up and like be next to him for a little bit, or you could heal him to full with like a lay on hands or something. You might need to heal him. I don't know. I've had some runs where Braun dies with me not healing him, and I have some runs where he does not die. So play it by ear. AoE is happening. So what happens with this AoE is I notice the portals usually come up at the same time, and it's just a bad time. So you just literally, if you want to survive, and both portals and the ground AoE is happening at the same time, don't even worry about damaging him. Live. This is not a DPS fight. This is a mechanics fight. If you can live, you can do this with low item level, right? So we're whittling him down. We're getting him to 20%. I'm considering what to do at this point, right? Do I blow cooldowns on him? I noticed the cocoon spawns. I can kill this cocoon, and another one probably won't spawn for 30 seconds to a minute later. So I kill it, right? He's at 16%. I'm like, what do I have to do? I have to live. I see the portals. I see the stuff happening on the ground. I'm just trying to move. And then here's my decision, right? We're getting to that point. I'm going to tell you what I do. I bubble because I've had so many times where I get him to this point and I just mess up from a fear. spawning those orbs and getting one shot. So I pop my bubble, I pop my cooldowns, and I go ham. I know a cocoon is gonna happen soon, so I have to kill him in this window. And I think we secure it right here. Boom, let me solo him. Realistically, I think this took me probably 100 tries. I don't know. I consistently ran this probably 100 times, and it probably wasn't the healthiest. I was getting mad, so I just want to make this video to show that I haven't played retail since classic fresh servers came out, and I came back last night, couldn't do it, and then I got it this tonight after work. So it's definitely doable for casual players or people coming back to the game. I think I had a 610 item level, and Braun was level 35, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's the fight. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see. Season 2 is coming up. I'm down, honestly, PvP, PvE, Mythic Plus push, whatever. Maybe even learning healing for the first time. Really open to ideas, so just let me know. Also, I have a podcast with my good friend Rob. I'm a co-host on that show. We talk about WoW lore, really starting from the beginning. We've been playing a lot of classics, starting from that. So it's called Tides of Lore. I'll link it in the description. But if you don't mind checking that out, that would be awesome. Thanks for your support, guys. Have a great day. Peace.